that was known as the Shalom Project. Uh-oh. It was known as the Shalom Project, the same encampment that between 1975 and 78 was known as Jonestown. Okay. The Shalom Project was neither Jewish or peaceful. The CIA supplied the project with 200 black ex-Green Beret Special Forces experts. Have you ever heard anything like that? Let me know. Have you ever heard in all your history lessons, particularly your black history lessons, have you ever heard of a project called Project Shalom that involved 200 black ex-Green Beret Special Forces experts? Have you ever heard of that at all? Was there any movies, cartoons, anything that you have heard of? Nobody? Okay, this is where it gets even more interesting. So I did a search on ChatGPT, and I was like, tell me about the Shalom Project. Tell me about it. And this is what ChatGPT tells us. The Shalom Project was a small, short-lived Black American religious agricultural settlement. It's established in Guyana in the early 1970s. It was created by members of a Black Hebrew, Black Israelite influence movement who believed that Black Americans were descended of the ancient Israelites and sought physical separation from the United States to build a self-sufficient, biblically inspired community. This is where it gets even more interesting. They said, okay, what do we know about the leadership? Based on the limited surviving references, academic notes, and oral histories and memories and mentions and studies of Black Israelite movements, the Shalom Project appears to have been led collectively, not charismatically. There is no equivalent to a Jim Jones type figure. Leadership likely consisted of one or more elders, organizers tied to a Black Hebrew influence congregation in the U.S. Decisions were framed as biblically guided and not personality driven. In other words, authority flowed from scripture and ideology, not from a single man. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you, that's a bunch of BS. That literally is a bunch of BS here. Because if we know black folks, okay, if we know black folks, any religious movement put out by black folks, it is always going to have a leader.